journey has been one of great joy and great disappointment, like any musician. I think that is the life of a musician, a professional musician. You have to have great determination and also find grace to remain in love with what you do. And so I think my journey has been not unlike most musicians' journey. Where my journey may be slightly different is in a lack of opportunities as a woman and African American woman as well. Again, all musicians, they have the adversity. And I think because of that, it took me a while to recognize that part of the barriers to my succeeding in other jobs or getting other jobs was because of being an African American woman. I just thought it was like any musician. You audition, maybe the orchestra just likes someone else. You're very good, but they just, they bond better with someone else. You don't take that personally. It wasn't until one orchestra literally told me, you don't look like what the maestro expects. You don't look like what our audience expects the maestro to look like. That I began to understand that, other people have a problem with this. And so that changed my perspective on what my role is, both with the orchestra and also with the audience and the community, and also what is the role of an orchestra in the community.
So sometimes it's complicated to be a woman as a conductor?
Yes, as they say on Facebook, it's complicated. Yes, it's complicated. Well, Black Pearl was my answer to that statement of you don't look like what our audience expects the maestro to look like. Black Pearl Chamber Orchestra has the finest musicians in the country who are African American, Latin American, Asian American, European American, people from all backgrounds who went to the very best schools come to play with my orchestra, so that the audience, anyone who comes to the concert, they see themselves in the orchestra and they understand that this music, Beethoven, Mozart, Stravinsky, this is for me as well, because they see people like them in the orchestra. And also to showcase more composers, women composers, composers of color, and to make sure that we remind people that the classical music canon is more than just Beethoven, Brahms, Bartok, that it is a living record of the values and aesthetics of a given period in time. And so the composers who are living right now should be in this canon and in conversation with these composers from other ages as well.
Perfect.
Oh my. That's complicated. It's complicated. When I think of music, in Christian belief, and God said, "Let there be light." Before there was light, there was sound. Yeah. Sound comes first. It is the divine word that created existence. So sound in music is primary. It's basic.
Yeah.
Women, life comes through us. It is basic. And so when I think of my daughter, my child, she's 6, and she has already conducted my orchestra at 3.
Oh my God.
And she's been in music her whole life because my body was her first instrument, heartbeat. Yeah. She heard that before in my voice, in her, before anything else. And so music and life and beginnings, they're cosmically connected.
Okay, so it's cosmically connected with woman music. You can separate it.
I mean, everything can be separated, but I'm I'm a little bit Buddhist as well, and so I think there's the illusion of form. We all think that everything is very different, but everything is the same.
The same.
I can go. As far as I dream to go. Other people may not want me to go that far, but I want to go as far as I can. I have loved conducting since I was a little girl, and being with musicians is joy. Is joy.
So you're unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Perfect.
I wish I could say that in Spanish, but unstoppable.
Imparable.
Imparable.
Exactly.
Jesse Montgomery's source code is very powerful. It's only 8 minutes long, so it's not a long piece, but it's full of intense emotion, very personal expression. There are a number of solos throughout the piece, and so individual musicians get to express themselves. And so I've been working with the orchestra for them to feel very free to infuse their own thoughts and emotions into the solos. They don't have to follow me. I don't have to control everything. I want them to feel free to express themselves, and we all play together and respect that expression and then come together, because the piece is an expression both of freedom and the desire to freedom, and the barriers to freedom as well. And you'll hear that I talked a lot to the musicians about releasing the sound into the atmosphere. So, liberar el sonido a la atmosfera. And you'll see them allowing the instruments to resonate by taking their bows off. And then sometimes I have to detener el sonido. I have to catch the sound because I cannot allow the freedom to continue. And so the piece is about civil rights in America. I don't know what people in Mexico may know about that, but women were not allowed to vote, African Americans not allowed to vote, and so it's been, and now civil rights has come along to sexual identity and sexual orientation and gender identity and a lot of these things. And so civil rights is very important in America, that every human being has the right to basic life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and respect and safety in their bodies, and the ability to participate fully in democracy. And so this piece is about that struggle in the 1960s when African Americans were protesting, were demonstrating, were sitting in, were riding buses in order to have all of their civil rights.
An identity as
Yes.
a community.
See. Oh, well, I've loved this Villa-Lobos, ever since I first heard it. It's just a beautiful, vivacious piece, and it's so beautiful paired with the Jesse Montgomery source code, because they both begin with very special sounds. Like you asked me about the beginning of sound. The Villa-Lobos is like la primer sonido de la creación, like the Big Bang, and sound appears. And then you have this beautiful homage to Bach and the discipline of the Baroque style, transported into Brazilian melodies and themes and spirit. And so the combination is very, very beautiful. And so within the Villa-Lobos, as well as the Montgomery, there is a musicians will give a theme, and there will be an answer. In the Jesse Montgomery, with the black music tradition, we call that call and response. And then when we get to the Schubert, it's the same thing. You have a theme, and then someone else answers. And so these are very basic concepts of relationships between people that are being played out in all of the pieces.
Thank you so much. We have to welcome. We are so happy to have you here, and hope you enjoy this weekend performing with OFUNAM.
I'm sure
conducting in this hall. What was your impression of Nezahualcóyotl?
It's a beautiful hall. It's a very, very beautiful. So congratulations on the hall. The acoustics are lovely. I love seeing the seats in front of me. I don't know if there will be audience seated there. I know people have to be spread out.
Besides,
On
the
the
fact not
sides.
because of the...
Of course. But it's always, because I remember being in the audience and enjoying seeing the conductor from the front. All people, see from me is the back. And so it's nice that they can experience the orchestras from different perspectives.
Thank you so much for this conversation. We're going to enjoy a lot.
Thank you.
This
Thank you so
weekend.
much. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.